pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Burrow, will you do a roll call, please?
Ms. Fred is absent. Mr. Eckert? Here. Mr. Burrow? Here. Mr. Wade? Here. Ms. Rotarius?
Here.
Mr. Burns?
Here.
Ms. Smith?
Here.
We have 6 present and 1 absent.
Thank you. Approval of agenda, any additions,
No additions.
deletions,
No.
amendments?
Yes, we do have one slight amendment on page 4. If you could please add January to the list of exceptions of board meetings being held on the 4th Monday of each month. January was not included in the narrative, but it is included as listed.
The organization of the board.
Motions for the offices of President, Vice President, Secretary, and Treasurer will be offered and voted upon. The President will be chosen first, then the President will assume the chair to conduct the election of the other positions. So we will begin. Do we have nominations for the Board of Education President?
Ms. Vaughn,
Yes.
I would like to nominate Janaea Smith as president for the 2026 calendar year.
Second.
Are there any other nominations for President? If there are none, then a board member needs to make the motion to close nominations and cast votes for the new president.
Mrs. Vaughn,
Yes.
I motion to close nominations and vote for the president.
Second.
Okay. And now we will conduct a roll call vote on the nomination of the school board president for Janaea Smith for the 2026 calendar year. So roll call vote. Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Burrow?
Aye.
Mr. Burns?
Aye.
Mrs. Rotarius?
Aye.
I'm sorry, and then Mr. Eckert?
Aye.
Ms. Smith? Motion passed, and Janaea Smith is the 2026 president of the Almont Board of Education. The president will now assume the chair and conduct the remaining nominations.
Do we have any nominations for vice president?
You want to do it? Do it, and if you don't want to do it, I'll go.
All right, I nominate Adam to be vice president.
Okay. And are there any other nominations for vice president? And if there are no other nominations, a board member needs to make a motion to close the nominations and cast votes for the new vice president.
Mrs. Smith?
Mr. Burrow.
I move that nominations be closed and votes cast for Adam Eckert as Vice President of the Almont School Board for the 2026 calendar year.
Support.
Okay, motion and support. We will now conduct a roll call vote on the nomination of Adam Eckert for vice president for the 2026 calendar year. Mrs. Rotarius.
Aye.
Mr. Burrow.
Aye.
Mr. Wade.
Aye.
Mr. Eckert.
Aye.
Mr. Burns.
Aye.
And Mrs. Smith. Aye. Motion passed, and Adam Eckert is now the 2026 Vice President of the Almont Board of Education. Do we have any nominations for Secretary?
Russell?
Mrs. Smith, I nominate Russell Burrow for secretary.
Are there any other nominations for Secretary? If there are none, then a board member needs to make a motion to close nominations and cast the votes for the new Secretary.
Ms. Smith,
Yep.
I move that nominations be closed and votes cast for Russell Burrow as Secretary of the Almont Board of Education for the 2026 calendar year.
Support.
Motion and support. We will now conduct a roll call vote on the nomination of Russell Burrow for Secretary of the 2026 calendar year. Mr. Eckert?
Aye.
Mr. Burns?
Aye.
Mrs. Rotarian?
Aye.
Mr. Burrow?
Aye.
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
And Ms. Smith? Aye. Motion passed, and Russell Burrow is the 2026 Secretary of the Almont Board of Education. have any nominations for treasurer?
Mrs. Smith.
Mr. Burns.
I nominate James Wade to be treasurer for the 2026 calendar year.
Support.
Are there any other nominations for treasurer? If there are none, then a board member needs to make the motion to close nominations and cast votes for the new treasurer.
Ms. Smith,
Mr. Burrow.
I move that nominations be closed and votes cast for James Wade as treasurer of the Almont Board of Education for the 2026 calendar year.
Support.
Motion and support. The secretary will now call for a roll call vote on the nomination of James Wade for treasurer for the 2026 calendar year.
Mr. Eckert?
Aye.
Mr. Burns?
Aye.
Mr. Burrow? Aye. Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Terrius?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
We have 6-0.
Motion passed, and James Wade is the 2026 treasurer of the Almont Board of Education. Okay, we are on approval of board policies. That would be Mr. Burrow.
Mrs. Smith?
Mr. Burrow.
I move the Board of Education adopt all bylaws and policies of the previous Board of Education, subject to revision as necessary.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mrs. Smith, do you need to read the title, or do I just?
I guess I can. So establishing location, time, and dates of the Board of Education meeting. Oh, actually it says you, so you do it. Sorry.
Mrs. Smith,
Mr. Burrow.
I move that the meetings of Almont Board of Education will be held in the auditorium at Almont High School, 4701 Holland Road, Almont, Michigan, at 6:30 p.m. on the fourth Monday of each month, except the months of January, May, and December. The dates of the meetings of the Board of Education be as follows: 6:30 p.m., January 20th, 2026, February 23rd, 2026, March 23rd, 2026, April 27th, 2026, May 18th, 2026, June 22nd, 2026, July 27th, 2026, August 24th, 2026, September 21st, 2026, October 26th, 2026, November 23rd, 2026, December 14th, 2026, and further that committee, informational, and special meetings of the board shall be held in the Media Center of Almont Middle School at 4624 Kidder Road, Almont, Michigan, unless otherwise noted on agenda, subject to call.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
On to naming of depositories. Ms. Smith.
Mr. Wade.
I move the Board of Education name the following depositories for the general fund, food service fund, payroll account, trust and agency funds, ProCare, athletics, 2016 refunding, 2021 Series A, 2014 sinking fund, accounts payable account, 2021 Series B, and 2013 refunding, and Choice 1, Tri-County Bank, herein referred to as banks, that the banks are hereby designated as trustees on behalf of the Almont Community School District, herein referred to as local unit, and authorized to accept the local unit surplus funds for deposit as defined in Michigan Public Act of 367 of the Public Acts of 1982, hereinafter referred to as Act, or other appropriate regulation, that the treasurer, superintendent, and administrator of finance of the local unit be and are hereby authorized to enter into a trust agreement with the banks providing the investment of surplus funds in accordance with the Act or other appropriate regulation, that any agreements, authorizations, or directions required to be signed or given in connection with the intent of this resolution may be signed or given by treasurer, superintendent of schools, and administrator of finance, whose signatures shall be duly certified of the bank, and the banks hereby are authorized to accept any surplus funds for investment in accordance with the Act and any agreement entered into between the local unit and bank in connection herewith, that the authority given by this resolution is in addition to and shall not amend or repeal any depository or investment authority granted by any other resolution of the local unit.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
To authorization of officials to sign checks. Ms. Smith.
Mr. Wade.
I move the Board of Education authorize the following officials to sign checks for the appropriate amounts, at the same time removing all previous signees from the accounts as noted in the attachment to be labeled X and attached to the official minutes of this meeting. Miscellaneous accounts, including General Fund, Food Service Fund, 2016 refunding, 2021 Series A, Accounts Payable, ProCare, Athletics, 2021 Series B, 2014 Sinking Fund, and refunding 2013.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. With that,
The
We're
second
supposed to go with that one, Jamie?
Yep.
Okay,
Were we supposed to read the names?
Yes.
yeah.
Yep.
I was thinking it was the second part.
Yeah. I'd like to amend the motion
Mr. Wade.
to include officers of the board. You'll need 2 of 5. Board President, Janaea Smith. Vice President, Adam Eckert. Secretary, Russell Burrow. Treasurer, James Wade. Other, Superintendent Kimberly Von Hiltmeyer. For payroll and withholding accounts, 2 of 5 will be needed. Superintendent Kimberly Von Hiltmeyer. Board President Janaea Smith. Vice President Adam Eckert. Board Secretary Russell Burrow. Board Treasurer James Wade.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mrs. Smith.
Mr. Wade.
Use of facsimile signatures for certain checks. I move the Board of Education authorize the use of facsimile signatures for checks under $5,000 drawn on choice 1 for accounts payable and payroll.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mrs. Smith.
Mr. Wade.
Authorization for transferring funds and receiving accounting balances. First motion. I move the Board of Education authorize the Superintendent Kimberly Von Hiltmeyer, the Administrator of Finance, Board of Education President Janaea Smith, Board Secretary Russell Burrow, or Board Treasurer James Wade to transfer funds to and from all accounts.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mrs. Smith.
Mr. Wade.
Second motion. I move the Board of Education authorize the Administrator of Finance to receive account balances for all accounts.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
On to authorization to invest surplus funds. Ms. Smith.
Mr. Wade.
I move the Board of Education authorize the Administrator of Finance as the designated agent of the Board Treasurer to invest in debt retirement funds, building and site funds, building and site sinking funds, or general funds of the district in accordance with MCLA 380.1223, following generally accepted business practices and in the best interest of the district.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Establishing standing committees. Mrs. Smith.
Mr. Burrow.
I move the following board committees be established as standing committees for the 2026 calendar year. Building and Site Committee, Finance Committee, curriculum committee, policy committee.
Support?
Motion and support, any discussion?
I would,
Mr. Burns?
I guess I'd like to challenge the need for the curriculum committee. I was on it, we never met, we didn't, like, it seems like anything that could come up could be covered under either policy or finance.
Discussion or thoughts on that?
What's the intention of the curriculum committee? What's the intention of that
I mean, the
committee?
committee we don't set curriculum, that's the administration's job. So, yeah.
Ms. Smith.
Mr. Ray?
The purpose of our district is, that should be the priority, that should be the main thing that we should have at most meetings. The majority of the stuff that we do have is the other stuff. All that other stuff falls into that curriculum. It should be the priority of how we are getting education top down to the students. To me, that should be the main one we keep. Even if we don't have, and a lot of it is distributed in through, we've got the personnel committee that we've dissolved because we've got one employee. There should be actually more, and it may have been that it's just the year that we had. In past years when we've had the updating of the math textbooks, that was a endeavor to go through to make sure that it matched with what we wanted. So I still think that is the main focus.
I know I can say the first year that I was on curriculum, and we did do a lot of meetings because we were updating different programs and stuff like that. So we were getting like, presentations about the different pricing and like the different things for the programs and samples and meeting with teachers and stuff like that. So, it may have been that this was just a light year. I do know that I had, the first year that I was on there was a bunch more stuff with curriculum. So, anybody else have a thought or opinion or discussion?
Do you foresee a lot, or I should say, more meetings than how many meetings did we have under curriculum this past?
Nothing outside of the work session.
No, it was mainly at our work session, I think, for that. I think most districts, there's the three things. They have curriculum, policy, and finance. So a lot of them will then have ad hoc committees and stuff underneath, like within those, like building and site can only be an ad hoc under finance, right? Because you're getting things together to spend money on building and site. So like personnel, we realize that really comes under policy because we have one employee, and so that's not really her area and stuff. So I think I would be hesitant to release curriculum just because, I mean, our main goal is to educate students. And so to me, I feel like that's still a needed area. I mean, we could reevaluate at the end of this year. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And then, you guys will have a couple years on and.
Sure, again, only one year
No, I
under my
think it's a
belt,
great
like,
point.
I was just like,
Yeah.
what is the because
Yeah, I think it's a great point.
Yeah.
So, we're in discussion.
The only thing I would add to this discussion is that, as you know, through our presentations, through communications, we bring, obviously, I invite our administrators or teachers to present different curriculum or programming to you. For example, CKLA was like our latest,
Yeah.
right through the grant.
And that's fantastic,
Yeah.
but that's not necessarily directed just specifically at the curriculum committee.
No, because we meet kind of like as a whole.
As a whole.
Right,
Yeah.
we meet as a whole, that's the other thing, that is another consideration.
Right.
To keep that, we meet as a whole, and so when you have your committee groups, there's 3 of you who are serving on that committee, right?
Yeah,
So
sure.
it's kind of the committee as a whole, but we're bringing it to the whole board.
Yeah.
But a lot of that's coming through communications.
Sure.
Yeah, but I understand where you're coming from, they have like separate meetings and
Yeah.
kind of to echo what Mr. Wade and Ms. Smith was talking about, as far as having new programming and when you're really, diving down or piloting programs, you might have a few more
More.
meetings come up, yeah.
Okay.
That's appropriate,
Sure.
yeah.
So the OP switching curriculum, that would be covered under that, and they should be having the meetings.
For the CKLA, that's already been approved by the board, but yes, but like in the future, and if you wanted updates or, whatever that looks like, that could be either vetted through the curriculum committee or brought through communications when we do our work sessions.
But to your point, that, like, the curriculum committee saying it would have made a difference.
No, I'm just saying, yeah, because of the timeline. Otherwise, I think if it would have been a normal process, I think you would have seen some of those curriculum committee meetings take place.
And there's sex ed, finishing in January, that in
Yes.
February you're gonna have discuss that.
Sure. Okay.
What I really hear him saying is he wants more meetings.
I just want meetings useful. I want it useful.
I
It needs to be
agree,
useful.
useful,
Yeah.
yes, 110%. It's a good point of discussion.
You have a motion to support, but we haven't called for a vote.
So any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mrs. Smith.
Mr. Wade,
Setting a Board of Education compensation, I move the Board of Education support the wage for set the wages for members of the Board of Education to be set at $20 per meeting, up to a maximum of 24 meetings per year, with the board officers to receive the following additional payment: President, $100, Vice President, $100, Secretary, $100, Treasurer, $100.
Support?
motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Nominations to the MASB Delegate Assembly. Ms. Smith.
Mr. Burrow,
I move that Katie Rotarius be nominated for the MASB Delegate Assembly, and this board directs the administration to forward this nomination immediately to the MASB.
Support.
motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Representative at Intermediate School District Board of Education meetings. Ms. Smith.
Mr. Burrow,
Do we have any volunteers for that before I read a motion? Yeah. So, Ms. Smith.
Mr. Burrow,
I move that Adam Eckert be appointed as the Almont School Board's representative at the Lapeer County Intermediate School District Board of Education meetings.
Support.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Designation of individuals responsible for posting meetings. Mrs. Smith.
Mr. Burrow,
I move that the administrative assistant be appointed as the person responsible for posting meetings of the Almont Board of Education.
Support.
motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mrs. Smith.
Hold on, we have to do comments. Any public comments? Hearing none. Any board comments?
Mrs. Smith.
Mr. Burrow,
I just want to, I know there's a lot of people that are going to be rotating off the board. Just from a standpoint of continuity for the district, if you are rotating off at the end of the year, this election cycle is going to have 5 open seats, which is a huge transition for the board. And only Mr. Burns and I will be left that have any experience at all. So if anyone would consider running for re-election, I think that would be a really big thing for the district to have that support. So.
any other comments?
Aye.
Mr. Burrow,
Maybe sort of more of a question, and maybe it's a future agenda item, like, should we consider the possibility of switching the term to 4 years instead of 6 years? I think this year's proving that the premise of the 6-year to rotate gradually doesn't really work in practicality.
Mr. Wade, do you recall, we had this discussion years ago. Do you remember?
What I remember is that there was discussion about going back to 4, but there is, I believe, with the turnover such as this, you can reach out to the clerk's office where you can have a reset election, where you can have the terms set to specific years, just for a purpose of getting back to where it's 2 members off for each election cycle, so it's not a complete turnover.
Yeah, it's a bigger thing than just be like making a policy internally. I remember there was a lot of different avenues that we had to look at.
It might lower the bar though for people,
Sure.
like, a lot of people look at 6 years, and they're like, that's a commitment, like.
Right.
We can look into it.
So we'd have to look at those coming off, where their terms would be then what possible two-year, four-term would reset the district in terms of getting back to where we were at, where it's 2 or 3 up for election. So it's like every 2 years that there's a portion of it.
This election cycle will be 3 6-years and 2 4-years at the moment, so.
So we have 5.
There's 5, yeah, 3 6-years and 2
I'm saying
4
you and I.
years. Yeah.
Yeah, you're at the 2 6 years.
But I do agree with what he says, and in that sentence, if you happen to run for 6 years but can only stay for 2, you would be right in the same spot that we are now, but it still would help the district out, I think, if we could get some of this board to, more of this board to roll over. So.
All of, in our drive, we had this discussion at length a couple years before the newer members came on. I believe it was even before your time, Mrs. Von Houtmeyer. It was it's a big process, and I'm not opposed to doing it. I'm not shying away for that, but I think we gotta get the information, and maybe we can look at it in policy and start that route with that.
Right.
We can put it as a future agenda item for policy and look at it.
No, I totally agree with Mr. Burns, is that what's the success rate of those that run for a 6-year term, staying all the way through their 6 years? I don't feel like it's.
Or even getting candidates to run. I mean,
Right.
Right.
we had
Right.
2 seats we ran unopposed
Right.
because, like, and even people I talked to, they're like, oh, 6 years.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Mrs. Bond and I will do some research. and
Okay.
We'll put it on there for policy and look at it. Any other board comments?
Were we deciding who's in what committee today, or?
I do have, I have a rough draft on that, and then I'll tighten that up, and then I will send that out to everybody. So just as a review, we have, Adam is vice president, Mr. Wade will be treasurer, Russ is secretary, I will be president. For building and site, I had Mr. Burrow, Mr. Burns, and Mrs. Rotarius. Russ would be the chair. Curriculum, I have Mrs. Rotarius, Russ, and Ms. Fred. Katie would be the chair on that one. And then for finance is Mr. Wade, Mr. Burns, and myself. Mr. Wade would be the chair. Policy is Adam, Mr. Wade, and myself, and Adam, you would be the chair for policy. So I'll clean that up, and then I'll get that to you and everybody else.
And then Ms. Fred will be
Ms. Fred will be on
rotating off.
curriculum.
And, yeah.
Yeah, so she is still on the board technically.
Right, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Any other board comments?
No, just to piggyback off that, I sent an email to you today just as a revision, one was a change for a meeting for building and site. I just need to know who the new committee members are. I know you'll send it to me, and I'll make sure you get those invites out. Yep, that's right. And then also just want to put on your radar that our middle school and our high school student councils would like to provide a board appreciation dinner again. That's typical, it's like our annual thing that we do to recognize the board and all the service that you provide to us. So that dinner is going to be before the January board meeting, which this month is going to be January 20th. Okay, so just want to put that on your radar, and I did do an update, and I sent an email to you today.
That's fine. Is that the one where the students come?
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yep.
I highly recommend you
Yep.
attend if you can at all possible. It's very enjoyable. Any other comments? Okay,
Mrs. Smith?
Mr. Burrow.
I move the Board of Education adjourn the January 5th, 2026 organizational meeting at 6:59 p.m.
Support?
Motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Do we technically switch seats then?
Yeah, going forward.
Like Adam and I, should we be switching
Oh,
seats?
yeah.
At the table?
Yeah, table seats.
Like, do you have this as the vice president?
No, we just kind of had it right forever.
Everyone.
Generally, the vice president wants to be closer to the audience.